Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Star Trek Online. Once again, I am Bull, and we are going to continue on with my Let's Play, where I play Roger the Alien, flying the Starship Voila, and, well, we're going to just pick right back up. It's actually been a few weeks since I played this character, so I don't actually remember exactly where we're at. So let's take a look here. We're doing Task Force Hippocrates. In progress. Task Force Hippocrates. Alright. There are more reports than usual about Klingon and Gorn attacks along the border of Federation space. Starfleet has created a task force to patrol the area. Proceed to your assigned coordinates in the Zarantine system and begin patrolling. If you receive any distress signals, you are authorized to do whatever is required to assist, aka blow them up, because that's what we do. Yes, the Starship, as I said before, the Federation, where you show up and blow the crap out of aliens. Alright, so, and we'll get a nice piece of Mark IV green armor, and a whole pile of skill points and some expertise. Alright. So, we are at the Zarantine system, so we're going to go ahead and drop in and patrol. To all Federation ships in range, this is SS Boyce. We are taking fire from Gorn fighters. Repeat, we are being attacked by Gorn and need help. Alright. Well, that's simple enough. Let's get in there and see about doing some damage. Probably help if I was moving. Well, you know, but I do a pretty decent amount of damage at range. And most of my weapons are front forward at the moment, so. But let's get in here. Swing around. Oh, and there we go. Alright, let's get over and hail the Boyce. Thanks for the assistance, we diverted from our deliveries to deploy these emergency power emitters, but now we need your help to activate them. Alright, so we need to activate the power emitters. And we've got a Tuatari Cruiser, so let's see if we can take that out. It appears that both of my torpedoes missed. That kind of sucked. These things happen, though. Torpedoes are dodgeable, so it's not easy to dodge them, and they do have some homing capabilities, but when they're at really long range, if you're moving, it's not too terribly hard to actually dodge them. Considering I'm using phasers, I really need to get some fire at will on this guy. I might swap out that high-yield torpedo at some point, because I think fire at will might actually be a better skill for me. Alright, so we need to activate the power satellite, or activate power satellite, yeah. So let's fly in close and we'll activate. And there's another one. Yeah, this one doesn't actually give you beacons for exactly where they're at, but I've done this one a couple of times. You start kind of in the middle, so there's two on either side of you. And this one here is real easy to miss because it's kind of in this crook of this asteroid here. I know I've done a couple of times where I've done this one, and I've spent all kinds of time looking for it. So keep that in mind if you do this one. And there's two over this way. And looks like another Tuatari, Gorn ship. So let's get in here and There we go, didn't miss that time. Shields were up, of course, so I didn't do a ton of damage, but... And... I'm trying to maneuver so that I can keep his front arc in front of me, or to my side as much as possible, since that's the side that I've beaten the shield down on. If I can keep ahead of him and in front of him, I can maximize my damage. Especially when I do this side strafing and I'm hitting him, just like I said, he's got no shields there, so he's just taking maximum damage. Alright, we got him. So let's activate this last satellite. Our levels are holding steady. We can handle fear. Thanks for the help. Alright. Oh, now we've got a Vulcan medical vessel. It's requesting assistance. So let's go visit the T'Pau. There's an outbreak of Tacanian syndrome on the planet's surface. Please accompany us to the planet and defend us from enemy ships. Hey, doesn't that look an awful lot like that bastard Vulcan who turned out to be a, what was he? The Undyne. Alright, we gotta escort the ship. This one's kind of a pain because the ship will only fly while you're in a certain range of it. He flies a little faster. He flies a little faster than you at... Well, doesn't matter now because we got this. But when he's flying normally, he flies a little bit faster than you do at full impulse, or at just normal impulse, maxed out. But he flies. Why am I? Every now and then my controls suck. My mouse is a little glitchy, and because I got a wireless mouse and it's old. I really need to get a new one at some point. But I have auto run mapped to my middle mouse button, so I just click it and it makes me go and stop. But it doesn't always work. So every now and then you'll see me just sit there and kind of cuss, and that's why. Anyways, the T'Pau, as I was saying, flies a bit faster than you at just normal impulse, as you can see, but flies much, much slower than your full impulse. So you end up kind of needing to do one of these jobs to stay with it, fiddling with your actual speed. Alright, let's go ahead and zip ahead. Again, this would be another situation where Fire at Will would be wonderful. I don't remember if I've talked about Fire at Will, but it's a great power that uses beam weapons. And it'll let you fire normally. Your normal shots will get fired at whatever your normal target is, but you will basically fire at double rate for a little while. Or you'll fire extra beams, and they will fire randomly around you at any targets within range. It's pretty nice for just doing like sort of area of effect. And if you're playing a tanker character, it's almost essential for pulling aggro. Because it's really handy for zapping the crap out of everything around you and keeping it off of the DPS monkeys. There we go. Grab the loots. Crappy white loots. But we will continue to escort the T'Pau. Now we got some birds of prey. Oh, that's a whole bunch of torpedoes. Fortunately, I think most of them went out through the top, which isn't a good thing, because I think it can die if it takes too much damage. And then you lose the mission. I like birds of prey. They're nice and they're pretty weak usually. They blow up good. They do not have much in the way of hull or shields. Oh, no. We've got the VS T'Pau, Vulcan science ship, I guess, or Vulcan ship. All right. Beam down to Zarantine and clear the area for the medical assistance team. Alright, and we've got our standard group of away team. So down we go. Alright, we got to defeat the enemies surrounding the... I don't remember if I mentioned it last time or not. I can't remember when I picked it up. As if I went ahead and upgraded my kit. So I actually picked up a kit that's got a couple of turrets. You can see the phaser beam turret there, which is really handy, although it doesn't have great range, so if they stay back far enough. But I also picked up a medical generator, which is fantastic because it will heal everybody in this green circle around it. So very handy for keeping yourself and your allies alive when you're taking heavy fire. By going turrets, I'm making my character a little more of a support character for the rest of my, in theory, the rest of my team. There we go, we'll just drop those there. Although you don't always want to drop the turrets right on top of each other, because one grenade and it can take both of them out really easy. And unless you get in there right away and do some damage, the NPCs also do love to target the turrets. Because the turrets do generate pretty consistent aggro, especially the healing turrets. Besides these two, we'll drop a phaser beam turret, we'll drop this back here. Especially because I am taking some damage. Besides the phaser beam turret and a medical turret, there's several other turrets you can pick up for engineering. There is a shield generation turret, which will regenerate your shields much, much quicker. There's a mortar turret, which has a real slow fire rate, but it's not blocked by line of sight. So a big circle will appear on the ground, and like the mortar Gorn that we were fighting a couple missions ago. Fairly nice, and it's really kind of handy to actually have all of those if you can pull it off. Apparently, I'm shooting at the rock. Nope, there's a Klingon hiding. Alright, there are actually two groups there. One stationary and one that's patrolling. So I'm going to kind of come over here and see if I can pull... We'll wait a minute. And then we'll see if we can pull the one group. There we go. That fight gets a little nasty if you end up fighting both of those dudes at once. There we go. Oh, yep, and speaking of mortar, there's one there. Alright, and we've got one more group we'll have to fight here. Loot the crate, because there'll be crap in there for me to loot. And we continue on. This is one of those longer ones. Considering you can beam in, you'd figure they'd beam you in a little closer, but no. That would be too easy. Oh, there's a lot of bad guys coming. Wow. Looks like there's a couple of groups we're fighting here. Let's get a medical generator down. Help out a little, because my shields are taking a beating. Yep, we got all of them. Fortunately, we're getting to be fairly badass now. We got a couple skills under our belt, and we're not quite so not quite the rookies we used to be. So we're going to move up a little further. We're actually here. You know what? Let's do something. I'll show you how you can do this a little strategically. Alright, so we're going to tell everybody to stay here. Everybody stay back here. Except for you. Let's see, target him, click on the grenade. Ah, there we go. Alright, now let's turn that off, because they're about to kill my turret. What I did there was I was actually manually commanding my characters, which you can do. It's a little tricky, but I told them all to stay there, and then I sent my security officer, Corspa, sent her up to throw a grenade into the group of Klingons. And since she had a waypoint sense, she ran up, threw the grenade, and then went back to the waypoint. Fairly useful if you want to keep your guys out of too much trouble, or you want to lure the bad guys into basically an ambush point. It takes a little bit of setup, and the interface is not the greatest, so I don't do it very often unless I know it's a really tricky fight coming up. Otherwise, I'll just run in and shoot things like I do, because it's just easier. Not quite as much fun, but much less time-consuming. Oh. We got an incoming message. All right, so we need to get out of combat. There we go. Area is secure. T'Pau is beaming down. Captain Solar can answer questions if I want. Nah, I don't really care. Who cares about the story? Let's just get on with the shooting. We can return to the Voila A as soon as we are ready. Why, thank you, Bufabe. Oh, and we got aiding the caregivers for doing that mission. Oh, and now we've got to warp to the Trimble system and find the Eagle. Alright, so we got another one we have to go assist. This is a long little chain of quests. Yeah, see, we're not even done. So we have to go to Trimble. Alright, so we're going to head to Trimble. And while we're at it, let's see what I can do for... Oh, I haven't spent skills in quite some time. So let's go ahead and do some of that. No, I'm going to want this eventually. Alright, let's go Starship Energy Weapons. 2, 3. And warp core efficiency improves all of my power levels, so I'm going to want some of that. Alright. Ah, see, she's got beam fire at will too, which is nice. And probably my next ship I'll be able to actually use that. So I'm not going to sweat it too much for now. Give her some points though. Get his. Max that out. Alright, we're good. Alright, continue. Clipped Wing. That's the next stage of this quest. Ooh, a Vorcha. Associates anomalies. We'll need to move deeper. Search for the eagle. We've got to find the eagle and defend it. Oh, there's the eagle. It might be possible to ignore that dude. So we're going to try. You honestly don't get much experience points from combat. So if you can help it, there's no real reason to get into combat. Other than, you know, it is fun to shoot ships. Like I said, space combat is definitely my favorite part of this game, but since I'm trying to do the missions, we will focus on the missions. We're taking a little bit of a beating. There we go. Fortunately, we're giving out a little bit of a beating as well. Shooting birds of prey, shooting birds of prey. Birds of prey are really, really nasty if they're played right. Because they're like I said, they're not very sturdy, but they can really dish out some damage. They've got some interesting configurations for as a captain. They end up with a lot of universal slots. So they're really configurable as to how you want to put in your bridge officers. You're not locked into, like this one I can't switch. Like if I wanted the a 2-slot tactical, I couldn't just switch my engineer and my tactical around. Nope, looks like I'm going to have to engage that. It still says defend. Yeah, it's one of the golf ball ships. Cool. So it looks like I'm going to have to go get that guy. Plus, the other thing is birds of prey can cloak. So ideally what they do is they stay cloaked most of the time until they actually get into combat, and then they uncloak and do an ambush attack. And because they do extra damage when they're when they first come out of cloak, they have a damage buff for a little while. Not for very long, but it can be real significant if they time it right and open up with everything. Most Klingon ships can actually cloak, so fortunately the NPC ones don't tend to do a ton of cloaking, although they will sometimes, especially at higher levels. The ones that are really nasty are the ships that have the battle cloaks. Fortunately, there's not too many of those. Those are ships that can cloak, and that's the big thing for the birds of prey. Birds of prey can cloak even when they're in combat. I forgot about that. Ships like the Vorcha there, they can cloak out of combat. And then there's one ship you can get off the Zen store on Klingon's side that can actually fire while in combat, or while cloaked. That one's really nasty. we got a beam over. There are Klingons boarding the Eagle. So we are on a shiny Federation ship. Oh. Let's not just walk right into the Klingons like dumbass. So yeah, Klingons, killing the Klingons. You have to get to the shuttle bay. So this is one where I probably could have avoided these guys, but I wasn't really paying attention to where I was going as much as I should have. Yeah, because this one's just to get to a certain area. It's not a defeat all enemies or defend whatever. And if I look at the map, the shuttle bay is obvious as to where it is. There might be Klingons in that room. I'm not going to go look. Because I need to go, yeah, this way. So we'll be a little smarter about it and we'll see if we can avoid some combat, potentially. So like I said, you do get experience points and skill points and whatever for everything you kill, and there's always the loot that drops. But it's really insignificant how much you get from killing stuff. Your biggest amount of XP comes from completing missions. So I'm much better off just focusing on completing the mission and not messing around too much. Oh, we got Captain something something. Alright. Oh, he is on me. And he's not happy with me. There we go. Fortunately, well, for a minute there, Thorol had pulled some aggro, but he didn't hold it. Alright. Well, we got it. Ooh, we got a rifle. And we'll talk to Captain Ayers. We can handle the cleanup here. I'm sure Starfleet will want to get your report. Alright. Ooh, mended wing. Depart system. Alright, I think we are done. So yeah, that one's a little bit of a longer one. Sometimes they'll do that, where they'll string several missions together to form a longer chain of patrols or whatever. Not real story intensive. It was just a bunch of, hey, go help these dudes. But, you know, that is what you do in Starfleet sometimes. You know, that's like a couple of episodes of Star Trek right there. So let's turn it in. We're going to get our stuff. I'm going to level. And what is our next mission? Skirmish. We have reports of True Way entering the neutral zone, picking up fight with Klingons needed not to. Alright. Ooh, that's right. You're gonna get we get some good stuff out of this one. So, alright, well, next time around we will do Skirmish. Well, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, leave some comments, some feedback, let me know what you like, what you didn't like, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.